Good day, grade 11s. We are right into term 3. We are continuing with our maths. We are going to be looking at trigonometry, continue with trigonometry, but in this term we will be focusing on something new. We will be introducing ourselves to the new rules, and they are the sine rule, the cosine rule, and the area rule. But before we dive into these new rules, I want us to remind ourselves of what we used to do in the previous grades, specifically grade 10, where we used to solve the triangles that are right angle triangles, and we used to calculate the sides and the angles using the three trigonometric ratios, that is the sine, the cos, and the tangent. And just to remind ourselves of how we define those ratios, we know that sine is opposite over the hypotenuse, cos is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tan is the opposite over the adjacent. Then we use the acronym SOHCAHTOA as we know it. Now let us go on and define the sides of this triangle with respect to the given angle, because remember, you use only the ratios looking at how is the sides are in relation to the angle of interest. So with respect to 37 degrees, the given angle, our side BC, which is now denoted by the letter A, is adjacent. And again, our side AB here is opposite to the angle 37 degrees. So that's how we're going to define those two sides. AB, which is C here, is the opposite side, and our A here is the adjacent side. Now let us go on and solve this triangle. We are going to calculate the measures or the length of these sides. Now let us start with C, which is opposite to our angle of interest, and we are given the hypotenuse. We know that that is the hypotenuse because that is the longest side, and beside that it is opposite the 90-degree angle. So we define sine as the opposite over the hypotenuse. So let us go on and use sine to determine the size of the length of C. So we're going to have, say, sine 37, that is the angle of interest, is equals to the opposite side, which is C, over the hypotenuse, which is given as 60 centimeters. Then we are calculating for C, so which means we have to make C the subject of the formula. Now how do we do that? We multiply both sides by 60 because we want to isolate C. So if you multiply both sides by 60, let me do it here. You multiply the left hand side by 60, so we're going to have 60 sine 37. I have multiplied, even though you don't see the sign there, there's a multiplication sign, equals to C over 60 multiplied by 60. So the aim is to cancel out the 60s, and we are left with 60 sine 37 equals to C. But I'm going to read this equation from the right hand side, starting from C, which is equals to 60 sine 37. And then we go on and use the calculator. So the answer that we get here is 36,11 centimeters. And that is how you calculate the length of side C. Then let us go on and calculate the length of side A. Side A in this case is the adjacent, and we have got the opposite side. We have calculated also the, we've got the hypotenuse here, we have calculated the opposite side. So we can go on and use any of the trigonometric ratios, but I'm going to choose to use cos. We define cos as the adjacent over the hypotenuse, so that is cos of 37 is equals to A here is our adjacent side over the hypotenuse, which is 60. We're doing the very same calculations as we did before, but in this case we're using cos. So we multiply both sides by 60, which is what I'm not going to do now, and we can see what we did on the previous step, that we're going to have A being equals to 60 multiplied by cos of 37. Then you go on and use a calculator, you punch everything in a calculator, then you get the answer of 47,92, and the unit of measurement here is centimeters. So that is basically how you calculate the sides of the right angle triangle if you're given an angle and you're given one side. And we can go on and calculate the measure of angle A. So we can use the sum of the angles of a triangle, but one thing that you can do, if you have the right angle triangle and you are given the other angle inside the right angle triangle, and you need to calculate the third angle of a right angle triangle, you can just go on and say the angle that you're calculating, which is A, equals to 90, because we've got the right angle triangle, minus the angle that is given. So that's how you can basically do that, and that is going to give us how much? 53 degrees, and that's how you can calculate that. And our reason here is that we used the sum of angles of a triangle. So that is basically how you solve the right angle triangle, and this is the knowledge that you need as a basic for you to be able to use the sine rule, the cosine rule, and the area rule effectively. So this is just an introduction to what we'll be doing, and we will introduce you to these rules in the next lesson.